I call the meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission to order. Could we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Frederick.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Lee is absent. Commissioner Lawford.
Here.
Commissioner Malone.
Here.
Commissioner Teeter.
Here.
Vice Chair Bites.
Here.
And Chair Doherty.
Here.
Thank you.
Can I have the approval of minutes, please?
And on second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstains? Any noes? Thank you.
Are there any presentations? Okay, hearing none, we'll go on to oral requests. And this is the point in the agenda where members of the public may address the commission on items of concern to the community that are not listed on the agenda this evening. People may speak for up to 2 minutes on any matter concerning the commission. The law generally prohibits the commission from discussion or taking action on such items. However, the commission may instruct staff accordingly regarding an oral request. Are there any oral requests? Would you, if you'd like to speak, please raise your hand. Okay, is there any unfinished business? Nope. Okay, that will lead us into new business. And item A is hosting a meeting in a park.
All right, good evening, commissioners. So if you'll notice on your agenda tonight, I started listing goals and work plan items. You can clearly identify your agenda items to align with the goals and work plans that were approved at the last commission. So the first one we have is hosting a meeting in a park, which represents one of our goal 1, work plan number 5, to host at least 2 meetings a year out in a park. And so wanted to have some discussion about what that looks like for the commission and kind of set some tentative dates. And I was going to propose possibly having a meeting in June at the community center, because we'll be heading into the adult center e-wing relocation, the skate park project, as well as the park and recreation master plan coming, so that commissioners can all have a tour and we can walk the space and answer questions. So that was one. And then the other one was possibly September for a consideration, and it could be at any park that we have. So those were kind of my initial thoughts, and would love to have some discussion from council. And again, these could be tentative. So in the event that an item needs to be on agenda, we could switch it back to being in person that requires a presentation.
Are there any comments from the commissioners?
I do like the idea of doing the community center. I think a lot of our activities, and as you said, a lot of new things are happening there. I think it would be great to walk the space and talk together.
I agree, absolutely. Yes.
I agree.
Yes, let's do it. Where would we meet?
We could start in a room in one of the spaces and then do a walking tour afterwards. So if any members of the public have a designated space to attend, they could come there. So that would be something to do. So we can tentatively slate for June. Does that work?
Yes, please.
And is that at the regular scheduled meeting, or is this this be a weekend?
Again, a discussion.
Yeah.
So we can currently keep it for regularly scheduled 7 p.m. and we can make adjustments in May. So at the meeting prior to when we're kind of slating these, we can have it on the agenda just for confirmation. If we want it that later, if we'd like to do it earlier. So it's up to
Yeah,
you.
no, I'm available on June 4th, which would be the regular evening meeting, or if commissioners felt like we should make it more accessible and do it on the weekend, the first weekend and the second weekend would work for me too. What are your thoughts?
I think if we could keep to the commission meeting date.
Okay.
it would be great.
Yeah. Okay. or earlier, I guess would be the other option. Is that like, do you get complaints? I guess we're probably gonna get too many complaints, but from having it too early, does the 7 seem to?
Oftentimes we would do them more like 5:30 or 6 o'clock if we
Okay.
were doing them in a park. But again, that's at the
Yeah, it's time, daylight.
commissioners too, when's convenient for work, so. Okay, so I have tentatively June 4th at the community center. We can discuss time, but I will put it on the agenda for May as well, just for final confirmation.
Okay,
And another date I had suggested September, just because you'd give us July and
So-
August.
September would work for me, but I have a question. Do you know what park we would go to?
That can be at the, I threw up a suggestion, commissioners can provide another suggestion.
I
I was
haven't-
thinking something
Go
not
ahead.
as travel, or just something we don't typically see. I know our subcommittee had discussed this. But the thought is just to get more eyes on different parts of different parks.
I was gonna say Edith Morley,
That's what I was
Yes,
thinking.
yes, I think that would be great.
because we haven't been there for a number of years.
And we've done some good projects out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'd like to be able to tour the community garden because you can't
Oh,
get in there as a
yes.
public member.
Okay, well, we know a few people with keys, so that's
Yeah.
I
good.
figured, you know, special access.
Okay, does that work for the commission?
When would that one be?
September.
September, yeah. Okay, so if we could just
That
have,
should be in the daytime, for sure.
like I said, it's up to the purview of the commission, what you would prefer. Most times when we've done commission meetings, we have done them about
Well, it's
5:30,
still
6
within
o'clock.
daylight savings
Yeah.
time.
5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 it'd be
so,
fine.
and I will put this on the August
Right.
agenda just for final confirmation as well. So if that is okay with the commissioners, a motion on the floor for June 4th at the community center and September, don't have the number in front of me, the September meeting at Edith Moreland, so
the 3rd.
September 3rd.
I'll make the motion for both those meetings on those dates.
Is that Labor
Second,
Day?
yeah.
It's just Wednesday before Labor Day.
Wednesday, yeah, we're Wednesday, sorry. Mixing up meetings.
Oh, is it?
Considering including going into the garden for that.
We will go into the garden, yes.
Okay, you have to practice that. I'll be happy to help with that.
All right, so we're all in favor then for June 6th and September 3rd.
All right.
Aye.
All right.
Any abstains? Any noes? Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is the Bunnies and Bonnets Parade.
So historically, the Park and Recreation Commission has participated in the Bunnies and Bonnets Parade. We have used the Yurkovich truck before, and we've also used a public works vehicle with a trailer with an inflatable bunny, kind of a decorated, had actual floats, and commissioners walk with the Park and Recreation Commission banner. So this year, the Museum Foundation has already reserved the Yurkovich truck, but they are also walking and having the truck in, so we can partner with the Museum Foundation to participate in it. We can walk on our own using the banner, or we can come up with another alternative and come up with some kind of float or something else in the next couple of weeks. Again, this is up to the commission on how you would like to participate in that. Just walking, holding the banner.
When is this?
It's going to be Saturday, April 19th. The parade starts at noon in downtown. So maybe we start with who is available and participate. Shirley. And Tina said she was as well. She's not here.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this last time,
You're
but
not here.
I'm not available.
I may not be either.
Okay. And Michael?
I think I am available, but I need to double check.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the time? So
At noon.
I knew, I am available.
You are. Okay.
I am available.
Okay. So then just a decision, we can be in the back of the Yurkovich truck with, in kind of collaboration with the Museum Foundation, or I can grab the banner and you guys can just simply walk down the street together, just for, it'll be five of you. It's your call.
I'm fine walking, but I'll leave it up to you guys. I'm fine walking.
I'm good walking.
I'm fine walking.
All right, I will submit the application to the Downtown Campbell Business Association, and I will find the banner. So I will send out more information about meeting if you have kids or other people who would like to participate as well. You know, they're welcome to join us and walk with you. There's no throwing of anything, so we don't generally bring candy. And then just for some point of like historical reference, the Parks and Recreation Commission used to partner with a local nursery to do tomato seedlings, and they would get X number donated. And then while people were waiting for the parade to start, they would pass those out too. So food for thought for future opportunities to kind of share kind of the Parks and Recreation options of things to do and in Campbell, and they would do that prior, and then they would participate in the parade after. So, all right, any other questions on that one? I don't need a motion.
Are bubbles allowed?
Bubbles are definitely allowed, and if you have your I Heart Campbell shirt, you can wear that.
Oh, yeah.
If you do not have one, let me know and I will make sure we have one for you. Okay. I think that's it.
Okay, then we'll get us to the next item on our agenda. Hosting a community.
So again, this is part of the work plan. So I was putting these on here to help get conversations started. I'm not looking for a motion or any final decisions for this evening, but opportunities for the commission to be a host of a community-driven event. And so what that looks like is kind of up to the commission. I have several ideas to share. So we could do a movie night that's sponsored by the Parks and Recreation Commission with an inflatable screen. It can be at a park. It usually happens after the sun goes down and then the movie plays. It's the cost of licensing and things, and staff would be assisting the Parks and Recreation Commission with all of that, but we would be present to kind of help support the event and helping get volunteers and things. Alternatively, you could do a pumpkin carving contest in the fall where people bring the pre-carved pumpkins to a meeting or to a location, and they're judged by the commission and the prize is done. You could do a Dia de los Muertos festival. You could do a sweetheart shuffle. There's all kinds of things, Valentine's. So just something for them, food for thought, and to start the discussion so that maybe the subcommittee and myself can meet and discuss further details, but to kind of spark that conversation this evening.
I have a question. When you've had the movie events before, are those usually well attended?
Yeah, I mean, it's especially when they make it into our activity guide, they're well attended. So they're, you know, because it's in the events list. You know, it's hit or miss. It depends on
Okay.
the movie. It depends on the time of summer when everyone takes vacation. But you could also do it into August and not be in July. So there's a lot that happens in July with our department for Parks and Recreation Month. So if you wanted to do it in August or September, like the kids have gone back to school and have something fun for a Friday night, that could be a very easy thing to kind of put on. Yeah.
Thank you.
Have you gotten any vendors in the past for food, drinks, or anything?
No, so historically we have supported Community Christian with hosting them. So it's usually been in partnership with Community Christian that does the movie nights, and we're really just kind of the people who unlock the fields and turn on the lights and that kind of stuff. It's been kind of driven more by them.
Sorry, can I just get a little more info on that organization?
They're just a local faith-based organization. Yeah, and so they used to use the community center as their home base for all of their services on Sunday. And so we were just good community partners, and they since found another location, but we still partner with them. So they are currently partnering with the Kiwanis Club to put on the extravaganza at the community center. So just for the work with easy.
Okay. Well, I like the idea of having it more catered towards family friendly and having children there. The movie
Right.
to me is something that can be enjoyed by all ages. And it sounds like if it's been well attended, I
You
like
can
that idea.
try something new. You can do it at Jack Fisher, which is a community-based park, and we can notice the neighbors and things like that. Kind of bring a different crowd, or Stojanovich Family Park, which is a smaller, more neighborhood walking park. So it doesn't necessarily have to be at the same location. It can be different.
Have you done it here in between the two?
No, mainly, well, no, and construction. I don't,
And traffic, I don't think that
Yeah.
would be.
well, we have the concerts here, so
Okay.
it just depends on how big it gets. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you have extra security and things like that.
So we've historically only done it at the Pony Baseball Field because it is a contained space. And so that's why we have used that space before, but it doesn't mean that that's what you have to do. You know, we can try other things. So parks that don't have a ton of traffic might be an easier starting point to kind of vet out some of those issues as we list them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of a movie night.
I was gonna say the same, or some kind of gathering, rather than somebody bringing something to be judged.
Yeah.
Kind of
Yeah.
falls flat, it's
Yeah.
done and it's over with,
Even
and
Morley
yeah.
might have better parking. So after work, right?
Yeah, and we can vet, I mean, the subcommittee that has the recreation, maybe we can meet offline when you guys have your next meeting and help kind of build out some of what that community event could look like and bring it back May or June to kind of talk more thoroughly with the commission on what the event looks like.
So would that be you're looking at me.
Oh,
which
sorry,
is
community building, sorry, not recreation, it's the community building one.
So-
Yeah, sorry, I am looking at you. You are the wrong person, yeah. It would be the community building subcommittee to kind of meet offline and discuss it. So that would be Chair Doherty, Commissioner Lee, and Commissioner Bites. Yeah. So does that work? Do you feel like you have enough information from the commission to kind of vet something out? It sounds like movie night or a gathering type of event is kind of the.
Yeah, I think one of the two goals. I mean, depending upon what kind of ages your kids, because if you're doing a movie night, then that's 9 o'clock, I would think. So.
Yeah.
Some kids are. I don't know. Or. Yeah. So.
It does also sound like it is better to do this later in the summer.
Yes, yeah.
Just given the, events that are happening in July. I
Right.
know it just will not be as ended as well. If it's August. September.
So, yeah, I would totally agree with the August event. August or early September.
Yeah.
Thank you. No motion needed.
And next on our agenda would be community events.
So in your packet, there was a report listing upcoming community events. So the Heritage Theater will be wrapping up their season of shows this Saturday with the Commodores, and tickets are actually almost sold out. So if you're interested, now's the time. Bay Area Young Survivors is hosting a 5K in Campbell Park this Saturday. Downtown Campbell Business Association is hosting a wine walk on Thursday, April 10th. There's a Keep America Beautiful event that does require pre-registration with our Public Works Parks Department on Saturday, April 12th. The museum is hosting a history happy hour. It's the history of fruit salad and fruit cocktail. And that's at the Carriage House on Friday, April 18th. And then Saturday, April 19th, we have the extravaganza at the community center, hosted by the Kiwanis of Campbell and Community Christian, followed by the Bunnies and Bonnets Parade in downtown Campbell by the Downtown Campbell Business Association. And then the Campbell Youth Commission will also be hosting a Campbell Multicultural Fair that day from 12 to 2. So also something to check out. And then last but not least, April 21st, AARP is hosting a Smart Driver course at the community center, and that's AARP and the City of Campbell's Adult Center. So that's it.
What is the Keep America Beautiful event?
Ron?
Keep America event is held annually, once a year. And what it is we pick a site that we want to actually do some beautification work. And maybe this year it is going to be held at the community center, Campbell Community Center. And it will be at the driveway, which is off of Latimer. What it will be is that area there is not in the best of shape. And so what the plan is this year is to go ahead and put new plants in, put some mulch in. There's an area as you drive in, there's some rocks there on a little island. It's Bob already has plans, working with some of his staff on the plans we're gonna do there. So it'll be redoing that rock island, redoing the area with plants and new mulch along right around the actual sign. There's marks the community center. And then there's also, as you drive in on the left-hand side, there's a cyclone fence with a small park strip there that will actually, they'll be doing some work on that to refresh. They'll be putting some new plants in there and some mulch in that area too. So it's just gonna concentrate in that area. And we are right now, we are looking for some more volunteers. So anybody that is willing to come out and help us, we are more than happy to have them. Right now, I'm not sure what our total is. It's probably 13, and we were hoping to get 20 to 25. And so we're really looking for people that want to donate a little time and come out there and help us.
Do you need
find
to
that
know in
area.
advance, or can we just show up?
There is a pre-registration link on the city's website.
Thank you.
So on the main page under, I think on the like newsflash items, there's a Keep America Beautiful icon, and you can just click it. It'll take you to the form to fill out.
Okay,
And
Thank you.
that's on that's Saturday, April 12th.
Yep.
At 9 a.m. it starts, and we'll wrap up by 11:30, 12 o'clock. So it's not, we're not asking for your whole Saturday, just a little portion of it.
thank you. Any other questions? No, okay, we'll go on to the next item. We're ready for committee reports. Parks and Creek Trail. Chair Teeter.
Apologize, I already got to one part again this last month. As normal, Campbell Park is just back for the basketball courts and placing is always used for pedestrians, joggers, bicyclists, and mention the electrical bike guy. Other than that, it's scooters, no electric. But anyway, some of my other members may have some of the parks.
Yes, so I spent a fair bit of time at John D. Morgan Park, and it looks great, as always. It seems to be getting a lot of use, just given all the traffic that was at the community center that's now there. So it's been well used. It looks, everything, grass is in good condition, it seems. Other park I visited was Stojanovich, which also it looked much more cleaned up than it did last month. Though last month we had all the storms coming through, so I guess nothing but none of the good things that I saw. The only question I had for John D. Morgan, and I'm not sure if you're going to touch on this in your report, staff report, but I saw that parking lot was getting a paved top coat. It was closed off this weekend. I haven't seen it this week since. I haven't been to that side of the park, so I don't know if there's any updates on that, or if I can wait until staff is more. Okay, we'll just wait. Yeah. The only other thing I had a question on was on the trail. There seems to be one side of the trail close to the Camden. So this is the highway side by Camden. There is a kind of roped off bench that's directly on top of the weir by the Camden overpass. So this is the opposite side this is the highway side. It's kind of roped off. There are a lot of goods and bags and other things that belong to unhoused members, my assumption. I don't know that anything's been done about it or reported, because it's got like caution tape roped around it. So I think people go by it and assume that something's being done and they're being notified. So I'm just curious if that's something Public Works is aware of.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's been there a couple of weeks.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What I can do is, when Bob does his report out, he can address that too, because I know he's had a couple other encampments of that nature that
Yeah.
we've had to address. So I'll
No, and I know there's a warning that you have to provide to them and the postings and such.
72-hour notice. Thank you for bringing that attention.
Yeah, I didn't have any other specific park visits, but I have been to Campbell Park and John D, and it's just nice with the time change that people are out after work now. So it's great to see people in the weekdays out enjoying themselves.
The subcommittee met on March 13th and we reviewed all the information that we got from Natasha and Todd. It was great. We did some brainstorming about our approach and our goals and some actions. I then went away for a couple of weeks, so we're just getting back to it now. But we will be in touch with you too about some information and our ideas.
Okay.
Yep.
Just an observation, talking about J.D. Morgan. One of our areas that we spent some time with is really the amount of traffic on the parklands. And one of our concerns, I think, was trying to tie some of the issues that face the parks, but also with the city in terms of some of the issues they're having with the same stuff. We were just talking about that a few minutes ago. At J.D. Morgan Park, there's that one road, and you can have all kinds of traffic on there. It can be a 4-year-old on an electric scooter who is so far ahead of the parent, there's no possible way they can, and they're not looking, they're just doing this. So we're interested in really trying to figure out some rules and guides that will really help solve that problem, but it's also a community problem. So that's kind of one is, at least from my side, one of the targets that we wanted to involve around that. What's the city going to do about people on bikes and walking, crossing, all those kinds of things? That same issue really applies to the parks, especially J.D. Morgan. It's got so many people.
Thank you.
What we were thinking of is as the scope of bicycle and pedestrian safety expands, that we look internally to some of the paved areas of the parks, like at John D. Morgan or Los Gatos Creek, and how we can apply some of the things we learn once we do the audit of the community center to see if what we learn there can be applied internally, not so much around the streets, but the internal areas, because there are so many more electric modes of transportation.
Yeah, and I would just caution about like thinking about just rules, because I think it'd be very hard to like how do you enforce? I mean, the only enforcement is Campbell PD. Are they going to go tell someone to slow down on a bike on the John D. Morgan path? I mean, possibly like think about that as, are there physical improvements that could be made? Like, is there like a more of a you could add a shoulder that's unpaved or something. I would look more on those lines than trying to be rules based.
But I also think there's an etiquette that comes with riding on a trail, especially when it's bi-directional, right? I think something like posting, rules or etiquette, some signage stating what you should be doing and passing somebody, calling it, letting them know, being visible, things like that.
I think that would be more effective on the creek trails.
Right, that's what I'm thinking is for creek trails, but it sounds like that's still an issue at John D. Morgan with the path that connects between the parking lots as well.
Between Bud and Rincon.
Yeah, that trail.
And we were thinking along those same lines of also doing some maybe education promotion that becomes a part of what we support is maybe bicycle etiquette, pedestrian etiquette also,
Yep.
you know, we need to be aware as walkers as well as bikers. Yeah. So thank you.
I mean, like, there's two concerns with that, like, the one is just how people feel, like, or how their perception, and then there's actual safety. Is there, I imagine, 'cause I've heard managers responding to actual injuries on the creek trail. I would imagine it's probably not too common at John D, but do we have any records of, like, is that like a pretty frequent occurrence that on the creek trail on the Campbell stretch that there is accidents like requiring ambulance or anything, or is that pretty infrequent? And I would imagine in John D, like that's rare, if any.
We haven't got any reports on any of our parks from things like that. We get them more on our public sidewalks more than
Right.
anything.
Yeah. So maybe not as much as public safety, but it's also the perception of people visiting, right?
But what I find interesting is that the bicyclists do have pretty good etiquette. You know, coming through on your left, they go,
Maybe.
thank you. You don't get any of that from the electrical vehicles, none. So it's a whole different world.
One of the things, so, because I'm on the trail quite a bit and we use our buggy that we drive down the trail and stuff. What I'm noticing too, though, is even if you beep on the horn a little bit and let people know you're coming on the left of them, some of these people are wearing headphones or earbuds. They have no idea until you're right on top of them and they're startled, you know, so. Yeah, part of it is too, the people wearing the earbuds and that, they need to make sure they're looking around at their surroundings.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, community building, Chair Doherty, I have nothing to report. So that will move us into staff reports and we'll go to parks.
So just have a couple of things to report on. Thank you. Regarding the JDM parking lot, our contractor's been out there. They've done the asphalt repair work. They've came out, they've done a seal coat on top of the new asphalt and the existing. You'll notice it's all nice and black now. Today they were out there, they were doing all the striping that needed to be done. You'll notice that there was a split rail fence that was installed, so it kind of separates the pedestrian walkway from where the cars park. It's kind of acts as a little barrier. There was a bollard put into a driveway approach that city staff can use that, lower that so they can drive vehicles in and out instead of before we used to kind of just cut through the parking lot, then up on the slope. So now we're not able to do that anymore. Also, the only thing that's left on that project is around the tree wells. There used to be 8x8 wooden timbers that were around it before. Those were removed because they were pretty rotten. We have in-house staff is going to go ahead and be placing those next weekend. Once we get those in place, the striping, everything's done, the parking lot should open right away after that. So you'll see the construction. Once we get everything done, the construction fence will come down and it'll be open for public use again. That should be, we're hoping in the next week we can have, you know, a lot of it has been, we were hoping to do more work this week, but then with the rain, it kind of really hampered things. We couldn't put the wood in, they couldn't stripe the parking lot. So they were actually took advantage of today's weather and did striping out there. So within the next week, we can have that parking lot. Also, just the only other thing I have to report on is in our March meeting here, we had a gentleman, Mr. Richard Sheehan, that came forward and wanted to make a donation in memory of his wife for the city to purchase a bench that we could place on Las Gatas Creek Trail. That went to council last night. That passed. Mr. Sheehan was in attendance. So it was, I wasn't there, Bob was there, but it was very nice. He got up and spoke a little bit about his wife, and but that's all approved. So staff now will move forward with the purchase of the bench and start prepping the area where it's going to go and be installed. So just wanted to let you know that did pass. That bench will be going in. That's all I have. Bob, would you like to come up and thank you?
Well, good evening, commissioners. It's nice to be here. So we are getting ready for summer. You hear all the activities that are going on. One of the important things that we're doing is going through our irrigation systems, looking for leaks, breaks, malfunctions of any kind, and trying to fine tune it so that our system works as well as it can, given its age, and that'll allow us to save as much water as possible. So that's what the team's been working on for the last 2 to 3 weeks. In addition, last week we went to the community center and we hired a contractor to remove some limbs that were hanging over the roof of some of the buildings. Those leaves clog the drains and they also impact the air conditioning units and just the cleanliness of the roof. So that was a really big success. It's over by the theater in that little quad area. So if any of you attend any shows this year, you may want to check that out. It looks really nice. A small thing, but it took us quite a while to get it, was a spring on our teeter-totter on the Rincon side playground had been broken, I don't know, some time ago. And we finally got the new one, installed it, and it's all back up and running. And because that unit is so popular, we actually bought an extra spring. So in case something happens to that one. So I was really positive to get that going. Park staff is very grateful for the 2 new replacement vehicles we have. We have 2 new F-350 dump bed pickups to replace some of our older fleet. And they're working out really nice, kind of a more modern style. Finally, well, 2 other quick things. We're watering the trees in downtown to keep them healthy and looking beautiful so that all these events that are in downtown have a nice, beautiful tree canopy. We're adding a product called Essential, which invigorates the soil and allows the plant to absorb nutrients. So we get a nice green canopy without a lot of growth. So we're excited about that. In fact, if you come in early tomorrow, we got a guy out there at 4 in the morning watering. So yeah, he loves it. Yeah, finally, we interviewed 2 new park temps. We have openings for park temporary positions. We interviewed 2, we have 2 possible candidates that we really like, and they're in the reference check with our HR department, and we're hoping to bring them on as the season ramps up. And that's, I could go on, but that's my report for park maintenance. Is there any questions or concerns?
Glad to hear you brought an extra spring. I was there Sunday with my children, and for about an hour I was there, and the entire time kids were on both sides, in the middle, jumping up and down. It was very popular. So
Yeah.
it's getting used.
So they'll need the second.
So that exactly.
That's why I got,
Yeah.
okay, good. Thanks for that feedback. I'm going to share that with the guy that installed it. We had to bring out a loader just to lift that thing on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's quite the job.
Yeah. Well, it's being well appreciated by the children. So
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you for your report, Bob. Next, we have Recreation and Community Services.
All right, so on top of all the stuff that was in the community events report that's hosted by us, our activity guide for this summer. So the full guide is off to the printer, should be mailed out to residents in the next week or so. Campbell resident registration will take place on April 29th and open registration will be April 30th. All of our camps and swim lessons are currently open and there's an online version only of that activity guide. Most recently, we did some repairs at the pool and they did fix 2 leaks in the gutter system and it looks like things might have stabilized. So not wonderful, but not as aggressive as it was before. So the bubble gum is working. AARP continues to provide free tax service to the adult center Tuesdays from 1 to 5 and Fridays from 9 to 1 in the morning. They do not have any further appointments, but if people come as a walk-in and someone's available, they do their best to assist. And the services will continue through April 11th. We're one of the highest number of returns in the county for this service. I think we do like over 400 returns a year out of our site. So they're all volunteers. They're a great group of people. Kevin Martz, he is our new recreation coordinator for the adult center. So he started on March 17th. He comes to us from Denver. He has hit the ground running. He is doing great. He comes with a breadth of experience, and he is really excited and passionate about working with our adult population. So we will find an opportunity for him to come in and meet the commission and get to know you guys. And as I mentioned in the other report, the Heritage Theater will be wrapping up their season this Saturday with the Commodores, and we'll be booking the 25-26 season soon. So hopefully have some news to share. The Adult Center relocation project, we have kicked that off with the architects and are working through some wants and needs that we need inside that space and kind of vetting that through. So it's going to take some time, but we'll keep you up to date as that project moves forward. And an interesting call that I took just to share, a gentleman was preparing his trust or will, and he wanted to leave a portion of his trust to Campbell Parks. And so it was he was asking me, how do I go about doing this? So I was like, well, you've called Recreation Community Services. Are you sure you don't want to leave it to us? So he was very adamant that it was Campbell Parks. So yeah, so that was something exciting and an interesting way for a community member to really give back. And so we've seen that happen with the museum, where part of a trust is being dissolved after passing of somebody, and as they kind of dwindle things down, you kind of keep getting checks as things clear out. So some good news to share down the road. And that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I have a question about the adult center relocation project. Now that you've chosen somebody.
Yeah.
Is there plans for community input on that project?
Yes and no. So there'll be some engagement that takes place mainly because it is kind of more office spaces, and there'll be some community gathering, but we're kind of limited in scope because we're trying to preserve the end caps of 42 and 46 because we utilize them as rental spaces. So we're working with like a small sliver in between to create gathering places. Those designs will all come to the commission for kind of review before they kind of go off to council as well. Right now, we're kind of vetting through like what has to be in there, like storage for tables and chairs, office spaces that are needed, restrooms where they need to go, how we access internally, and that kind of stuff. We're trying our best to preserve the 3 existing rental spaces that we have, and then also bring over kind of like a C34 and C35 type space as well. So it's a lot to fit in there, plus offices. So we're seeing what we can do. Yeah.
As the Recreation and Community Services Subcommittee, can we make some suggestions?
Absolutely. We're just not at that point yet. Like
Yeah.
we've had
We're thinking.
the electrician, like the electrical engineer and the site
Right.
surveyor come, and they've done all that, and they've kind of like, here's all the stuff that's wrong with your building. Kind of hit list to go through. And so some preliminary designs of what it could look like. And we've just given like initial, like, hate that, this works, that kind of stuff. And that's kind of where we're at. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like we're ready for a good of the game. Commissioner Teeter. Nothing?
I'd like to add something about J.D. Morgan. The Child's Park area there, that playground area, is probably one of the best attended places I've seen. Just almost always busy. So it's a plus. And the lawn is a plus too. It's really, really green.
I'll just mention something I actually forgot from when I went to Virginia Park. I really, because I was a ranger for 30 years, I really appreciated that there's a little park ranger outline of a truck on the playground structure. And then I actually did go underneath, which is a tight fit for me. But there's like a cool little almost hidden thing of you press it for animal sounds tied into the ranger thing. And those really seem to like work when you run into those in a park, and they were all working great. And I sat there and people looked at me as I pressed all the animal sounds, but as a former park ranger, I really appreciate that element in Virginia Park.
I think I just want to comment, or I guess maybe expand on what I had mentioned. Is just it seems like the parks I visited the past week or two all seem very spring ready, which is surprising given how much rain we have. So I'm just happy to see that it's looking good. It's being used. Weather's getting better, so it's good timing.
And I visited Edith Morley for the first time and was on last Saturday. It's a lovely, sweet little park. You know, there was a family gathering there. There were people walking dogs, but it didn't have quite the energy. It's a little more low key. I like that. I walked all the way around. What I loved was everything looked clean and fresh. The water stations, the trash cans, the picnic tables, they all were something that you would want to interact with. And I really think that engenders people who come there to be also respectful and to take care and use the trash cans and not leave their litter. And so I really appreciate that about the park. I love the fruit trees in front of the community garden and the fact that they had labels. 2 of the trees are missing their labels, so I don't know what became of them, but this is a beautiful time to see them because they're all in bloom. So that's my good at the game. Oh, and the picnic tables are accessible for wheelchairs and walkers. How lovely is that? It's really nice.
Okay, well, I don't have anything to add to that. So with that, I will adjourn this meeting at 7:51.
6.
Oh, 7:46, excuse me. There's a glare.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.